kicking off bike talk.nyc. It's Monday morning, about, I don't know, 70, 75 degrees, pretty hot already, and gonna hit 90 today. It's the end, it's kind of September 23rd? End of September, still 90 degrees, so that's fun. That's called global warming. Actually, no, I mean, it is global warming, but it's just gonna get worse and worse. But I did check out the time machine for dark sky, a little dark sky time machine that shows you what the weather was like, you know, many years ago. You can kind of pick whenever. So I was like, oh, you know, what was it in the 80s? And believe it or not, it actually did hit the 80s in mid-September. So it's not unreasonable, but obviously we know global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it, is something that only gets worse and worse and just increases the frequency of this sort of weather. Here we got Armado just hanging out in the middle of the crosswalk like an asshole. Armado Ice. Thank you, Armado Ice, for your ice cubes and for blocking the crosswalk at 110th and Columbus. Thank you. So, oh, I'm already winded. So, let's see. Got some thoughts to share on this fine morning while we ride on a city bike on down to Chelsea through the West Side Greenway. This Armado guy is on the phone also. He definitely is not paying any attention. It's a garbage lane. It's a bike lane. It's a garbage lane. That's what it feels like most of the time. Let's see. I got some things to share. We got our bike this weekend, so a couple of really exciting things all happened. I'm gonna make a right here. This is the only safe way to do it. I have a walk signal this way. This is a good example of a terrible intersection. When you want to make a right turn, there's almost no way to do it legally. More on that later. So we got it's a door zone. It's a bike lane. It's a door zone. So it's a door lane. It's a cone lane. Oh, he's got two cones just sitting in the bike lane there. Over on that side. So we picked up our Urban Arrow Saturday morning, well, not morning, around noon, from Propel Bikes down near across from the Navy Yard. Oh man. And threw my wife in the deep end there. She biked the whole way home, almost 12 miles, through a absolutely beautiful Saturday afternoon, through over the Manhattan Bridge, like through downtown, a little bit of Brooklyn, over the Manhattan Bridge, into Chinatown, take Chinatown up a little bit, and then go towards on the west side, through I guess Soho and or Tribeca, and all kinds of areas that would be interesting if you're just sort of walking around, but the biking is a little terrifying. Not terrifying, a little bit challenging in certain places because there were so many people, so many pedestrians out, as they should, because it was a gorgeous day, and these are amazing areas to walk around in. But, you know, lots of people means lots of overflow onto the bike lanes, which are not really protected. They're not marked too well. A lot of them are sharrows. And then getting on the greenway, which the Greenway is beautiful and fairly relaxing, but the Greenway was super crowded, like way more crowded than I've ever seen it, which is both kind of inspiring and really fun, because you're like, wow, everybody's on a bike today, but also a little bit terrifying when you're riding your Urban Arrow with your precious cargo of 2 young children. And we made it. It was fine. But I called it. I said, I think everybody's on a city bike today. I think today's gonna break the record. I said this. Oh, here we got 1, 2, 3 cars on the bike lane. It's GRJ 2031. He's kind of, I'm gonna give him a B-. He is like technically outside it. But if that was automated enforcement, he would get a ticket. If it was like, well, your wheel is touching it, that's it, that's the rule. So I called it. I said, I think today, this was back on Saturday, I think today City Bike's gonna break their next milestone. So the last milestone City Bike broke was 90,000 rides in a single day. And that was just like last week, or maybe a little less than a week ago, something like that. Within the last 2 weeks. Gorgeous day, beautiful day for that. Totally made sense. And so Polly Trottenberg and City Bike people were like, well, the next milestone is 100,000 rides in a single day. Like that's what we're looking forward to. And sure enough, on Saturday, I saw, I'm gonna treat this red light as a stop sign. So you stop, you look, and then you go, because nobody is here. There is literally nobody here. And so on Saturday, it was a gorgeous day. Everybody was on a city bike, and I was thinking in my head, this is gonna be the day it broke. This morning, got the alert from Streets Blog. It's not official, but they said in their download, there should be an article maybe later today, officially announcing that the milestone was hit. 100,000 city bike rides on Saturday. Amazing, like amazing, given the circumstances. The fact that a 14-year-old kid biking in Brooklyn 2 days ago was killed by a truck driver, you know, and there's a few, I mean, that's awful. That makes depends on how you count, but 21 or 22 cyclist deaths this year. I mean, this is a 14-year-old kid. That is crazy. This is an area that the location of where it happened was near like a truck depot or something, or where they said the truck driver was like a block from ending his shift in parking or something. And I looked at the area and it's like, well, this area kind of looks pretty cruddy. It doesn't have any kind of bike infrastructure. That's one of the main reasons, you know, that it's pretty awful. Because the cops can't even say, well, he wasn't on a bike lane. Like, yeah, no kidding, he wasn't on a bike lane, because there's no fucking infrastructure for a 14-year-old to ride on. You take one look at this truck and you think a few things. A, how the hell are trucks this large allowed into any, like, near any humans? Like, how are they not relegated to, like, a truck like this? Look at this. This guy is coming through. What are we doing here, man? So if you look at a truck like this is kind of it, but you can see on the sides, it's got giant wheels. And it's hard to see. But on the other side, it had a kind of a Vision Zero, like, guardrail thing where it's sort of supposed to help you not get pulled under in between the wheels. You know, if you do get hit, it sort of will push you aside, at least. So only, you know, part of your body gets amputated, whatever. And this is, by the way, like standard Netherlands. Like every single truck has those guards on them. Just here. So anyway, 14-year-old kid killed. The bike was still stuck in the wheels. These pictures are just awful. His two friends witnessed the whole thing. And that makes number 22 cyclists dead this year. So, I don't know. You got good news and bad and awful news, right? And the awful news is we're so far from safe streets that de Blasio said he will not rest. He will not rest until the streets are safe for all children, or for children, and all streets are safe for children. Yeah. Okay, so it's been a week since you tweeted that, and now another kid is dead. So what are we gonna do? I hope you're not sleeping. Meanwhile, he did drop out of the presidential race. Finally, cool. Good job. Maybe, you know, you can come back and focus on making these streets safe and not deadly for children who live in New York or travelers or whatever. So those are bad news. Good news is citibike is strong, right? Like, it was a beautiful day and everybody was out biking. So while there are some articles that came out today, I think, saying like, I saw some tweets also talking about how terrifying it is to bike, and after this latest death, someone tweeted, oh, you know, my mom texted me and said don't bike because it's dangerous. And, you know, that's like, that was met with a lot of other responses that were kind of similar, and it just got me thinking about a topic that I wanted to talk about, which is like retreating, you know, like, okay, yeah, so a lot of cyclists were killed. That's not exactly a reason to just put your bike away and never ride, because for some, you know, somehow like there's something in the air and everybody's you know, and things are really unsafe, so you can't bike. I think it's a time to double down and, you know, and really push for all the things we've been asking for. And be like, I think a big part of this, it's easy to say, but it's like to be seen. You need to be seen on a bike. You can't kind of quietly, you know, you need to be out in the middle of traffic. You don't need to, you shouldn't be, it's unsafe. I just mean, it needs to be visible, you know? And it is pretty windy here, so I don't know how much is going to come through on the audio. But God, wow, I mean, I just want to take a minute to take this in. It is a really beautiful day. It's a September day with these boats, people running, people biking, using this path, and all these drivers who, if you look inside, the passengers, there's one person. There's, in 90% of these cars, there's a single occupant. And keep that in mind that we just had a big climate march. We roughly have 11 or 12 years to really take significant action. And yet it's business as usual on the West Side Highway. People continuing to ride on in these Gigunda SUVs, gas guzzlers, taking up road space, and then killing people on our streets, or seriously injuring, which is much more common. We only talk about the death, but you don't even, what doesn't even get reported is the volume of people who are hit by drivers and injured, which can be, you know, not as bad as death, but goddamn, I mean, in some ways it could be. Jeez, it's all pretty bad. I'm not trying to equate the two, but God help you if you're in a serious crash with a car. So good news, biking is still happening. People are still out. I remember the day after the Greenway terrorist attack in 2017, Halloween, early afternoon, Halloween 2017, and remember the next day, next morning, I biked. Everybody was still biking. It did not change, you know, how people acted, and that was like a really good show of strength, I think. Here we've got this ridiculous hill here, pinch point. This young woman having some trouble up here. Huh. Israeli, I'm assuming, speaking Hebrew. Or maybe not, actually, I have no idea. No, sorry, just speaking Hebrew does not necessarily mean Israeli. So yeah, so you got good news, you got bad news. I am inspired by all the people who ride. I'm inspired by all the congestion on the Greenway on Saturday, and Sunday was kind of it was a beautiful day. It was also like 80 degrees. And that was our first main day with the Urban Arrow, going out and really biking to 2 different street fairs. One at 93rd and Lexington, so Upper East Side. Not particularly far, right, as the bike rides, but very far as the MTA drives. You know, we've taken a really long time to get there, and a lot of walking and hassle and stuff, but for the bike, the whole experience is so different. And I think we can, you know, I'll be able to talk a lot more about that, but yeah, we hopped on the bike, went out, no big deal. Maddie took the whole way. She just rode it all, added another 10-12 miles onto the odometer, and away we go. I mean, we're just sort of doing our thing. And I feel like we're gonna have a much better sense of this after a few weeks, where we really get a feel for, or Maddie gets a feel for biking around, what it's like to shuttle kids, what it's like to park. But goddamn, it's like amazing. We managed to rode this thing straight up a steep incline on 93rd Street. Parked it right at a tent, like right in between 2 tents at this street fair, right? So you can imagine it's a crowded street fair, but there was like a little bit of room. We just walked the bike over, we're like, hey, can we just put this right here? And they're like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. Imagine doing that with a car, right? And that's kind of like what we're doing. We're just like, it's our vehicle, but we can put it wherever we want. Yeah. And that's like one of the huge benefits of this thing, is it's like all the value of a car. So it's kind of the speed, the ease, right? So it's an electric, so you barely break a sweat. You can go up steep hills, no big deal. It can carry all your kids and all your crap. You just chuck it all in there, no big deal. But then it's none of the downside, right? So street parking is not a thing. It's a bike, so you can bike wherever you want, basically, and then park it on the street, on the sidewalk, you know, wherever there's space, like a motorcycle. It's a motorcycle except it doesn't have a license, right? So I don't know if motorcycles are legally, you know, allowed to be on the sidewalk, but I know that people can and sometimes do that. But this is like it's a full-on bike, so, you know, it's got bicycle wheels. It's a bike, so you can definitely put it next to stuff. I think we've become pretty comfortable now. It's only been a few days. At first we were pretty nervous. We were like, is this thing still outside? You know, overnight. We thought maybe, oh, you know, it's gonna get stolen. It seems every day goes by, less and less likely that the thing's gonna get stolen or anyone's gonna mess with it. It's in a motorcycle tarp. I don't think anybody ever messes with a motorcycle tarp. Like, what's somebody gonna do? They're gonna just like straight up take a motorcycle, you know? And the thing is, this is such a rare kind of a bike that it's like everybody keeps asking about, oh, you know, how, like, what about locks and stealing and this and that? And I'm like, I don't think anyone's gonna take this thing. Maybe they could, but I don't know what happens next. There's no secondary market. There's no black market for this thing. The parts are like specialized. You can't really strip it. I mean, it's a body with two wheels and a motor. You know, we take the battery inside. Battery's worth a lot. Battery's like $1,000, right? So the battery's worth a ton, but we don't leave that out overnight. And it's in a key. It's in a lock anyway. And then on top of that, we have a chain, so it's locked to a fence, to like a big metal iron fence. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I'd be impressed if somebody took it, and then I'd be like more impressed if they got any value out of it. Like, what? I don't know what they would do. Because anybody that bought it should kind of know that it's stolen, since it doesn't have the electric, sort of little electric brain on the top. It's the control for the battery. So that thing you also just take off. It's kind of like a little calculator, you know, it sits on top. You just pull that right off whenever you dock it or whenever you park, and then that basically controls all the batteries. So it's a powerless 120-pound cargo bike, which I guess has value to some people, but definitely would catch some like looks, you know? Somebody who's just riding around with no power, and you know, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's totally possible. I've seen people with stolen city bikes that are just like spray painted, and they're obviously city bikes that they found or whatever, and they sort of repurposed them and just took them and made them their own, personalized, added some personalization to them. Anyway. We're good. So let's see, one of the other things to discuss is, yeah, I didn't have a chance to read some of these articles, but basically they're like, oh, you know, a lot of people, you know, you hear about all these cycling deaths and injuries, and the streets are like unsafe, so you should stop riding, right? Like that's that's the response. Or more likely, you have to wear a helmet. And then we're back to the helmet debate. And it's like, I'm going to take a step back. When you say, oh yeah, bike in the city, people are like, oh, that's dangerous. And then I always ask, well, what specifically is dangerous? Like, what do you perceive? Because there's always people who don't ride bikes who think that. They're like, oh, it's really dangerous. You get killed. Do you ride with a helmet? That's the first thing everybody asks. Do you ride with a helmet? Well, why do you think it's unsafe? Is it because you technically like don't know how to ride a bike, and so it's challenging to ride a two-wheel, you know, human-powered bicycle through places? Like, if that's the case, then yeah, that's kind of dangerous, because it's sort of your own doing. You have trouble walking. Maybe walking, if you're prone to falling, is not a good idea. Or, you know, it's just there's some danger to it. But what they typically mean is, oh, it's dangerous because drivers will kill you. And I'm like, okay, but then the drivers are the ones who are killing you, or hitting you, or driving too fast, or going through stop signs and whatever, and doing things that are really unsafe. Very few people actually talk about the infrastructure. They're like, well, you know, it's dangerous because there's no protected bike lanes. So I'm gonna fight for those protected bike lanes because I don't want you to die. Like, that would be a great response somebody could give. Rare, very, very rare. Nobody ever talks like that. I rarely hear it from people who don't ride. It's hard to understand what that's like until you ride. It's one of those things you have to experience, I think. And so, yeah, it kind of goes back to my refrain, which is the onus is on the driver and in the Safe Streets initiatives, which is not what people want to hear, right? I mean, most people just want something that's convenient for everybody, meaning drivers, and doesn't take away any space, doesn't take away parking space, doesn't slow you down, yada yada. But like, look at some of the laws we have. That guy's on a moped coming through here, but like, whatever, I don't care. That doesn't bother me. I'm sure that bothers a lot of other people. But that doesn't bother me the way, like, going through this red light where there's nobody around. Like, I'm just sort of casually going through here. I'm not blocking pedestrians. There's literally nobody here. And I'm just going slow. And now I can see there's a bus. So I'm gonna stop and let the bus go. Because I'm not, you know, I don't have a death wish. But after the bus goes, you look around, you're like, nobody is here. So I can go. And that is why this bike infrastructure is so cruddy. Because it's designed for cars to move through places. It's not designed for cyclists to get from A to B comfortably and safely and conveniently. I mean, literally the green bike signal right here on the right, and the walk signal, and on the left, the highway green signal are all timed the same. And that doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. Right? Because I'm on a bike, so I'm obviously going at a very different rate. And I should basically never have to stop unless there's a specific reason. But these are really stupid traffic lights that are just dumb and timed and just automatically switch from red to green to red to green, when they really should just be green all the time for cyclists, until a driver wants to come through, like wants to make a turn. Although that should be banned also. You really should have a key card and bollards at the entrance so that nobody can come through unless they are authorized. Anyway, so like you see this law, like this kid ate some grilled cheese, he was allergic, and he died, and that's awful, in a daycare, and you're like, that's awful. Okay, they passed an entire law with his name, requiring that all daycares comply with all these other laws that I guess schools have to comply with. Totally on board, all of that stuff, absolutely, 100%. What's crazy though is that it's not consistent between that and anytime a kid is killed in traffic. Kid is killed in traffic, there should immediately be laws. There should immediately be redesigned streets, because it means that it's not working. Now I don't even like that approach because it's reactive. It requires death in order to work, which is one of the main deficiencies of Vision Zero, at least so far, at least under this mayor and this administration. They are like responsive, they're reactive to death. It requires death at intersections before any changes are made. And then, even then, it takes a year for like DOT to plan and vote and put some paint in a day or two on Central Park West when somebody gets killed. Somebody gets killed, it should immediately trigger redesigns of the streets, like within a day. That should be a law. That should be the law that they pass. And you'd see some serious redesigns very quickly. Say, all right, you know what? It says kids. Nope. You don't get to drive through these streets during certain hours or whatever. Let's see if I can make this light here. And I made it. Wow. And here's the cruddiest crosstown. I don't even know what this is. This is a blending zone. This is a murder strip right here. You have nothing but trucks lined up. And then you have cones and all this stuff protecting the cars and trucks that are on the sidewalk because they need some cones to protect them. And then you got 1, 2, this is great. I definitely can't get through here. 3. And then all of these cars, which are all following each other, are all like 4 feet to the right. These 2 last cars are illegal. Those are placard abuse right there. They're not even allowed on that white hash, right? So that's the mixing zone, and that's illegal to park there. And then, of course, you got right across the street, NYPD doing 0 to help the situation. I mean, look at this. You also have a van right there and a van right there. And then you got cops over here. But nobody seems to see what I just saw because none of them are on bikes. I think that's the first thing. And then they're gonna just like have a conversation on the bike lane. So I'll just stop here and ask how I should get around. Can I get through, guys? It's an active bike lane. Thank you. Cool. Step on the curb. I mean, can you just do whatever you're doing, but like stop traffic to do it? Because that would make this whole place safer. Maybe this driver right here. The truck is there all the time. So, biking in New York is, I mean, it's an obstacle course, is really what it is. It's like, oh, this is a cool bike. It's an obstacle course. It's like the least fun obstacle course, but you do get a lot of like, but you know, there's nothing better than biking in New York City. It's one of these, it's wonderful and amazing, right? But at the same time, terrifying, dangerous, can be super inconvenient and just sort of like hostile. When you see stuff like that, when you see all these drivers just blocking everything, when you see this like NYPD police here to protect you, but also to take up half of this protected bike lane and make it, you know, less safe for cyclists because, you know, screw them. They don't really factor into any of the equations. You're doing a traffic stop, block the bike lane. You're getting lunch, block the bike lane. You know, you're stopping somebody for whatever reason, block the bike lane. You need to put up some like lights or something at night that's gonna be there indefinitely for the next like 6 years and like not work, block the bike lane. Take over the bike lane. Nobody cares, nobody uses it. At least that's what it feels like. So that's why things are pretty hostile. They seem that way, that's the perception. And that's why it is so vital, so important for everybody to experience what it's like to bike in New York. The good and the bad, right? The magic, unlocking the city, all this amazing stuff, but also the terrible. When you encounter it, things can be really bad. So that's me. That's all I got for today. Oh wow, this bike is effed up. Thanks for watching. I will see you later. Bike Talk NYC. Like and subscribe.